All right, so this is going to be this is going to be the not nice video that I was telling y'all about when I in the previous video or episode where I do the read, the collective read. In that video, at the beginning of that video, I said that I wanted to get this read out there. Number one, because I was called to do so, but number two, because I wanted to do something nice for the Tarot Collective, the spiritual collective, before I give y'all this much needed harsh lesson again. For the podcast listeners, I've done an episode like this, or I did an episode. This is going to be pretty much referencing the episode I did last year at this point, um, when I said that you should use your discernment when it comes to tarot readers, or just if you're going to be in this space, you really need to have high, strong discernment. You can't be one of these individuals that just go on and you believe everything a reader says. You can't be somebody who is so, um, so I don't know the term. Um, so delusional. That's the term, really. You can't really be one of these people that's so dang delusional to the point where you're willing to just only listen to people when they tell you things you want to hear, right? Delusional, yeah, that's the term I want to use, but there's another term that's escaping me right now. Now, I've watched this video a couple times. I'm not going to play the entire video because, to be honest with you, it's pretty lengthy. Only because the lady here, what's her name? Shayna. She 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 has a lot to say, to put it nicely, but she also has two videos within this video that she responds to. I will be rewinding or fast forwarding, not even rewinding, fast forwarding some stuff in regards to this situation here with Alex, who, the tarot reader who guess went by Alex Tarot, I don't know. Alex something with the words tarot in it. I didn't follow her. I didn't had no idea who this woman was, but she now goes by Alice the Ordinary, right? I'm gonna respond to pretty much that controversy. I'm also gonna respond to bits and pieces of this video. The video in general is, like I said, I've saw on this. This is gonna be like my third time watching this video. So just full transparency, I know what Shayna says in this clip, or in this video. I also know what the two clips of the individuals that she says are going to say. I already know what I'm going to say in regards to what I'm about to show y'all. But without further ado, for the video watchers out there, whether you're on YouTube, or you're on Spotify, yeah, y'all, those are the video watchers. If you're listening to this on any other platform and you want to watch the video, you can only do so on these two platforms that I name. Either go to Spotify and listen and or watch the video, or go on YouTube. I'll have the YouTube link in the description box below. You can go there, subscribe as well. Um, yeah. Without further ado, let's play Shayna's video, and then I'm gonna do the whole pause and stop thing, and respond whenever I see fit. But like I said, I am not gonna play all 23 minutes and 15 seconds on this video. There comes a point where I do personally believe Shayna was just rambling at some point. I know she has ADHD. She says it herself. I understand the rambling thing. Trust me, I know, I get it, but that does not mean that I got to stick around for all of it personally. But if you would like to stick around and see all of it, like I said, I'll leave this video in the description box below. Without further ado, let's play her video, and let's get right into it.
Watch these. Do I want context first? I'll give context first, and then you will watch these two videos, and then we're going to have a conversation. So here's the context. Basically, there's been a huge event, I guess, that happened within the tarot community. Basically, a very large content creator, I think her name is Alex Reads Tarot, Alex Does Tarot, something like that. She decided, hey, this is not for me. I do not believe in this anymore. Supposedly, she's been switching pretty not so subtly over the past year. I did follow her, but I haven't seen any of her content, honestly, in over a year. So I kind of forgot I was following her. So according to folks that have been like pretty consistently watching her, her content has been shifting over the past year.
I do want to stop because this wasn't like a pre-planned point, but I do want to make the point now. I I take, tarot seriously to the point where I have to know the viewpoint or what other people that I follow are saying when they're doing their reads. There's no way in heck I can follow somebody. I'm not saying Shayna's wrong or anybody else is wrong, but there's no way I can subscribe to somebody, follow somebody, wherever the platform is, right? Who does tarot, and heck, I can't do that for any content, but definitely not in with tarot where I can follow you and not watch your stuff for over a year. At some point I'm gonna think like if I was subscribed to Alex and I for over a year wasn't vibing with her content enough for me to want to check up on her content, that's a tall tale sign to me. That's a telltale sign to me that maybe her messages just ain't for me anymore. Or maybe she's going in a direction that I personally don't feel as though is aligned with me anymore. So I'm going to unsubscribe. I'm not going to just stay subscribed to people. I know that's something a lot of people do. I feel like a lot of people have done that with me. That's why the YouTube numbers, that's why nobody watches on YouTube anymore. Because I feel as though a lot of folks saw, when I was exclusively doing reads on YouTube and, got a read here and there, liked what they saw, ended up subscribing. But like with many people within this space, they don't just subscribe to one person in tarot, they subscribe to many different people within this space. And therefore, because of that, I fell by the wayside, for many of those folks, so they don't necessarily check up on me anymore. The subscriber numbers haven't gone down. The views have drastically gone down. It wasn't like I was getting much views anyways, but they definitely have drastically gone down. But the subscriber numbers haven't gone down, which tells me that just like Shayna, I have people who subscribe to me, and I'm speaking specifically for YouTube. I don't really check up on the Spotify numbers and stuff. I don't know what that's like. I can check up on it, but if you know me, you know anything about me, I'm not really the numbers guy like that. So I don't check on my numbers all the time. Blasphemous as a content creator, right? I know, but um, I feel as though that's happening with me right now. Like a lot of people just either forgot they subscribe or, they're paying more so attention to the people that is in their face. I won't say 24/7, but almost daily when it comes to tarot or just maybe of the other content that they got going on. So I just wanted to mention that. Again, I didn't necessarily plan on stopping, this being my first stop, but I felt like I had to say that.
And then she drops this bombshell of a video a couple days ago from me recording this saying, hey, I'm a Christian now. I've given my life to Christ. I do not want to participate in tarot anymore. This has been something that I have been moving towards for the past year. Yes, I was still doing an insane amount of, she didn't say an insane amount. We can only assume it's an insane amount because she was close to 1 million followers on TikTok alone, which means that she definitely had over 1 million followers if you include other social platforms. So she was still taking like calls and doing readings for people, even though she was moving, it seems to have moved pretty far away from.
And that's important to note. That's important to note that this woman who, just for me to get my thoughts out the way, I could care less about her or anybody else deciding that they don't want to partake in tarot anymore. Why did like an idiot, I closed out for nothing. And now y'all seeing my screen and stuff. Hold on. Now I got to replay. I don't know
All
why
right,
it closed
babes.
out.
Watch these. So I'm on contact. And then she drops this bombshell of a
Right on time. All right. Apologize for that. Yeah, I apologize for that. But um, is this screen even sharing? Okay, I don't think the screen's sharing anymore, so you didn't even see me X out for whatever reason. Like an idiot. I think I was trying to close something else. Anyways, we're right on time or back, whatever. But what I wanted to say before I interrupted myself was first of all, Alex can do what she wants. I'm not going to be the weirdo in this tarot space that's going to get mad at people who decide that they no longer want to believe in tarot or practice, or they have another spiritual or religious practice. It's not my game. I didn't get into this for the cult like mentality. I didn't get into this because other people are into it. I don't need other people in general to believe in what I believe in for me to feel affirmed in my beliefs. I feel like that is what happens a lot, especially in tarot, where unfortunately I think there's a lot of people who are wavering between believer and non-believer of this. And the only reason they're still in this space is because there are other people in this space. It's got zero to do. I won't say zero. Maybe for some folks, it is zero to do with them actually believing in the power of tarot. But I think a lot of it has to do with, well, it must be real because someone else believes in it or all these other people believe in it. It's not what I got into tarot at all. I'm not a part of any type of tarot groups. No disrespect to anybody who is anything, but I am of the belief that any type of spiritual practice, whether it's mainstream religions, mainstream spiritual practices, or not, I believe it's all at its core is personal and can only be personal. And thus, with that being said, if I'm not saying you can't come together with folks, but your ascension in something should always be like your introduction or anything should always be because of your connection with God or whatever higher power, whatever higher being, not because so many other people are involved in this. If you want to join a group activity, go on Eventbrite. They're not sponsored. Oh, I don't know if they sponsor. They might be sponsored. Definitely not on YouTube, but the other places where you can catch this video or this podcast episode. Um, Maybe Eventbrite is sponsoring, but I'm not shouting them out because they're sponsored. I'm shouting them out because I think it's a great tool to use if you are someone that wants to go view group activities within your city, your state, just and within your community in general. Go do that. But joining tarot and then having that mindset to me is part of what sullies, this community. And yeah, I say all that just to say, number one, um, again, I don't care what this Alex woman does. Whatever she does that's going to make her happy and fulfilled, it is what it is. Do I got stuff to say about her transition? Yeah, I will get to that later on. This is going to be a lengthy video, by the way. But we'll get to that. But do I personally feel like I was hurt? No. I've followed, and I still believe I follow one person. I think Jane is her name, who once just a couple months ago, sometime last year, and it didn't even last a year. But sometime last year, she was like, I'm done with tarot. I'm not going to do it ever again. Or, she was ditching the tarot content for crypto content, crypto investing, because her husband, I believe, or fiance, who she's with somebody. I don't know if she's still with him now, but, her partner is very much into that stuff as well. And I guess she got into it because he's into it. And that was the content she said she wanted to make. I ended up not subscribing. I didn't see that content from her, but I ended up not subscribing or resubscribing until I saw that she was doing her tarot content again. Now, I didn't see any type of video of her saying, "Hey guys, I'm back doing tarot." Maybe she shared that on her socials that I don't follow because I only follow this woman on YouTube. But um, I did see the video of her when she said she was no longer going to do the tarot content. Um, and again, that was a choice of hers, and I wasn't upset because I was again, I didn't get into this with the with the notion that if there was ever a moment within my journey with tarot where I felt like if it wasn't like I was just following some type of falsehood or whatever, like I was wasting my time. Again, that is a discussion I would have with myself and God. you know because again, I didn't get into this space with this whole idea of trying to just be a part of a collective group, or with the idea of I only believe in it because so many other people believe in it, so it must be real. Nah, we'll continue though.
Video a couple days ago from me recording this saying, hey, I'm a Christian now. I've given my life to Christ. I do not want to participate in tarot anymore. This has been something that I have been moving towards for the past year. Yes, I was still doing an insane amount of, she didn't say an insane amount. We can only assume it's an insane amount because she was close to 1 million followers on TikTok alone, which means that she definitely had over 1 million followers if you include other social platforms. So she was still taking like calls and doing readings for people, even though she was moving. It seems to have moved pretty far away from believing in this during that time. So she shares with everybody, hey, I don't believe in this anymore. I've given my life to Christ. And there was obviously a very big backlash response, let's say, from this. She makes a follow up video trying to clarify things. For me, it didn't really clarify too much.
By the way, I don't know where these videos can be found. Again, maybe if you type in Alex the Ordinary on wherever the TikTok, YouTube, wherever you can find her stuff, you can find it. I personally did not see any of these videos that Shayna is talking about. The only videos I've seen is this video of Shayna and the two video clips that she includes within this video. That's it. I haven't watched anybody else's video on this. I haven't checked out, I didn't do a deep dive on this. That's how much I don't care, to be honest with you. The only reason why I'm doing a video on this is because, again, the overall message I want to give, if I can give it without sneezing, because my nose is really, anyway, it's got that feeling your nose gets whenever you want to sneeze. That little funny tingly feeling. But the reason why I'm doing this, just to reiterate, is because the overall message I want to give off is discernment is important within this space. A couple of other messages, like the ones I previously gave, are included within this, but the overall message, once again, that I want here is you avoid these problems. Number one, you avoid these problems when you don't idolize people simply because they're readers. That's number one. Number two, you avoid these problems when you actually using your discernment. All right. That's why I'm doing this video.
I don't know. The video, none of the videos seemed particularly hateful or anything like that. It was just very much like, hey, this is not for me anymore. My platform now is now called Alex the Ordinary. And I will not be participating in the gifts of divination that I've had before. My life is not.
By the way, I'm calling bluff on that. I'm just going to say I'm calling bluff. I don't know this Alex woman, but based off of the various grift that I've noticed now and that others have done, Alex isn't the first individual who's done this. I am calling bluff on this. I'm just going to say, even a woman that I named earlier, Jane, I'm not saying she's a grifter, but she is a white woman, like this Alex woman. And that does definitely play a part in all of this. We'll get into that later as well. I'm just giving y'all gems that is trying not to spoil it. But I don't think Alex is going to be done with tarot for forever. I don't think so. I could be wrong.
Now to Christ. So, with that information, now watch these two commentators share, these two uh, people share their thoughts on this situation.
I saw someone say that Alex quitting tarot is a recession indicator, and I did laugh, but it's a fascist indicator. We are experiencing the rise of fascism, you guys, and it's global. I personally think if your reader is not explicitly using anti-capitalist and decolonial terms, speaking out against injustice and white supremacy in general, which I will say Christianity is very much in line with white supremacy. And it's not, I know that people are like, it's just a different belief system. You can say that, but once you start to recognize the way that this religion was constructed to create more compliant citizens for the state and push certain agendas. And
By the way, I know the video watchers, y'all can already see this, probably can tell. But this is a white woman saying this stuff. For the non-video watchers, this is a white woman speaking right now. I mentioned that because you can take whatever you want from that truth being there, but this is a white woman saying the things that you're going to hear in this first clip.
And orient people to a relationship with the land where we feel ownership over the land. We are separate from nature. All of that is embedded in Christianity. In Genesis 1:26, God literally instructs humans, Adam and Eve, to subdue the land, to conquer it, to rule over all of the animals and fish in the sea. And someone who actually has a spiritual worldview cannot fucking think like that. You can't get behind that logic if you are actually connected to the universe and understanding of the ways that, yes, we have agency over our lives and we're embedded in all of these structures that have gone back for, I don't, centuries, you know? I feel pissed on behalf of anyone that purchased a reading from her in the past year, especially like her name was still Alex Reads Tarot, but she was barely reading tarot. She was really doing more oracle decks, and I wasn't even watching them towards the end because shit did get weird. I think if we could trace this back, my personal hypothesis is that this started back when she came on the internet crying that she was only 22 when someone threatened to sue her for getting scammed on the internet. I remember that was my moment where I was like, oh my God, she's pulling the like, this is the white girl move to as like, yeah, I'm old enough to make a profit. I'm going to sell this and I'm going to be that person. And then the second I'm met with resistance, whether like, she also wasn't going to get sued, but
I don't know what this scam is about. I'm assuming it's a crypto scam only because that's the popular scam happening now. And again, a lot of people from a lot of spaces, whether they're from a tarot, well, I won't say a lot of people from, yeah, it's a lot of people from a lot of different spaces, but I'm not saying everyone in tarot is doing this, but it can be from a tarot space, from some other type of content you can find online. There are a lot of people from various different content backgrounds who partake in or have partook in crypto scams, scamming cryptos and investing in altcoins and things of that nature, and using their influence to get their followers essentially invested in a crypto scam or finally. Finally, I never wanted to sneeze so much in my life, man. Hopefully that's it. But a crypto scam or I forget. They're not called JPEGs, but they were pretty much pictures. Damn, I'm forgetting the name for them. Um NFTs, that's what they were called. Like a lot of folks from a lot of backgrounds were getting involved in that. I've seen a lot of musicians, former athletes, present athletes, but they weren't, stars or anything, right? But former athletes, present athletes, musicians, actors, again, people in tarot spaces, other types of spaces online get involved in these scams. So I wonder if that was the scam that this Alex woman was crying about and didn't want to be held accountable for essentially scamming people for that. Or maybe it was a tarot related scam. I don't know. But again, had y'all who follow this woman paid attention to that, like if you were following her, you didn't know that was happening, I'm not talking about you. But if you were still following her even after all of that was happening and you still took her word as bond when it came to tarot, that's your fault. That's, I'm going to say that. I'm going to say that to this white woman or this white person, however they identify, speaking right now, because they make it clear that they're a fan or they were a follower of that they were a follower of Alex, but they admitted within their clips thus far that even after that, they were privy to that scam and Alex being called out for it, and yet they still followed Alex. And again, a lot of y'all still follow these readers, whether it be a Alex or somebody else, even after it is shown that they are the type to lie, to scam, to grift, and yet you all still follow. And then when the grift happens to you or the lie with the switch up, whatever, it's the big reveal, let me put it that way, happens and you're not happy with the reveal. Now all of a sudden you're upset when all the signs were there. If it's like you haven't learned anything when it comes to tarot. Everyone talks about being aware of signs and until it's again signs that's warning them about maybe someone or a situation or themselves. And because they don't want to accept said truth, the sign is all of a sudden not a sign. It's not present. They ignore it. They don't use their discernment. This lady says, or this individual says, you can't be, she says what she said about Christianity and the belief and all this other stuff. And I'm not even going to debate that or try to argue or talk about that, what she was saying at the beginning. But what I want to say is you cannot be in this space. Like you can't be a participant in this space and um well, how can I say this? You can't be someone who I'm just gonna say it like this, fuck it. And I F it, I meant, because I'm trying not to curse, but it is what it is. Sometimes it's gonna come out. You cannot be an intelligent participant in this space if you don't know how to use your discernment. She believes, if you believe in Christianity or, if you believe in the values of Christianity, even like practice some of it and in the tarot space, you're not a real, participant of tarot. I believe if you don't use your discernment, you're not a real practitioner of tarot. That's just my belief though. All right, so let's continue on with her video.
Obviously she was only 22. So that's the other thing. I was like, oh my God, I did not know that I was taking 22, like advice from a 22-year-old. I would never in my conscious mind do that. So that also was a fucking wake up call to me of like,
how do I not know she was 22 though? If I look up Alex the Ordinary right now and I look at her age, she's probably going to look like someone who is young. If she's not 22 now, she's probably going to look like someone that is, probably and still within her 20s, but older than 22, but still young nonetheless. So unless unless Alex the Ordinary age like some cottage cheese or something, I don't know. Like she aged horribly. If she looked, I don't know, 44 at 22, 41 at 21. I don't see how y'all didn't look at her and again use context clues and say, wow, this is quite the young woman. You know what I'm saying? But again, I feel like a lot of people, if the age thing is an issue to you all, and you're like, I don't want to take advice from someone younger than me, I don't think it's hard to look at somebody unless, again, they age like crazy, crazy good or crazy bad, but like, unless they age like crazy, unless this Alex individual is age crazy, like she looks 50 at 20, you know, no disrespect to 50-year-olds and stuff. Let me put it at a super old age, like 90 at 20, no disrespect to 90-year-olds, all right? But if she looks 90 at 20, then I can understand why you're like, hold on, what? What's going on here? I thought she was 90. I thought she was at least 80 something. I was taking advice from an elder. But nah, if she's 22 and she looks 22 and you decided you're going to ignore all of that because it benefited you in your fantasies and whatever she was telling you, again, that's on you. That's on you. I'm not victim blaming. Y'all can say that I am. What I'm saying here is there's a level of responsibility both tarot readers and people who, partake in this, who are consumers of reads or whatever, have. And if you are not going to be able to use your discernment and or just being able to look at somebody at the very least and say, is this somebody that I would want to seriously take advice from? Or like, would I feel comfortable, let me just say, taking advice from? Like, if you can't do that, then again, I don't think you're intelligent enough to be in this space. I'm just gonna flat out say that. I don't know, and then any other nice way to say other than I don't think you're smart enough to be in this type of space. If you can't even look at somebody at first. The number of y'all do that is just when it comes to certain people, that mindset goes away because people look at me and like, I'm not getting a read from him. I don't trust him to get a read from. Reasons I can go over in this video here. I just might. Reasons I've thought about making a dedicated, video episode about anyways. But nonetheless, um, it can be done because I've seen you all do it to folks all the time. Not everybody, but to certain folks, y'all purposely do not get reads from. No matter how genuine those readers are, no matter how authentic those reads are. But this is once again on y'all. Let's continue.
Oh my God. And I'm not saying it was just because I like the 22-year-old part was less of like a scare to me than the how quick she was to dodge accountability and say that she's 22, because that is white girl behavior. That is the level of discernment that you need when you start taking spiritual advice on the internet from strangers. As a tarot reader myself, I'm so upset because this is also obviously.
And I love that this individual is going into, again, the level of discernment one needs to have, because, again, it shows that, and again, I'm not one that needs validation from other people or needs confirmation from. I do enjoy seeing other people. Yes, I do enjoy seeing other people make the points that I make. I didn't come up with the discernment point when I watched this video. Again, I did that episode. The podcast listeners know yet that y'all heard that episode last year. When I that was one of my like first episodes of the Earnest Thoughts Tarotcast. One of the first. I'm not saying the absolute first. I want to say that may have been episode 4. Nonetheless, it's within the top 10. I'm gonna say at least within the top, like first 10, not top 10, but first 10 episodes. It may be a top 10 if you gonna rank my episodes, but you know, Or if I were to rank my own episodes, it may be in the top 10. I really did enjoy giving y'all that message, but it ain't just the crazy old guy over here saying that. You got someone else saying it as well, and especially y'all who only let's listen to white people speak, white women speak, or just white people speak. You have a white individual saying the same thing that I just said, who's also a reader as well. So take that as it resonates.
Going to shift a fuck ton of people away from tarot. By the way, I'm seeing all those cars move. I'm parked. I just wanted you to know. And
I don't care about people being shifted away from tarot. Again, this speaks to what I said before. I didn't come to this space because there's other people here. I came to this space because I felt a personal connection to when I was getting reads from people. I felt personal connection to just the tarot practices in general. I felt a personal connection over time when I became more comfortable with learning how to read and read. So I'm in this space. Again, if people are turned off by it because of whatever they saw, that is their decision. And that's not something that I can control. That's not something I want to control. If if people who subscribe to the YouTube channel who don't watch these videos, right, they all decided that they no longer were a part of part of tarot. My only question to them would be like, well, then why are you still subscribed? Clean up your sub feed and unsubscribe from me. Because I know the videos, the recent ones at least that I'm uploading there, are probably still hitting your feed. You're not watching them. Clean that up because you're messing up my algorithm. But now, in all seriousness, it'd just be like, all right, fine. People want to come, they want to go, they want to, whatever the case is what it is. The people who stay here are the people who are genuinely connected to the space, or, not to say that the people who end up leaving or everyone who ends up leaving weren't genuinely connected. At some point in time, they may have been, and they no longer are. But then there are those who leave because they were not genuinely connected. But unfortunately, you still have people in this space who are not genuinely connected who are still here. So being upset about people being turned away about it is like, again, it gives off you care more about the numbers, you care more about the amount of people around you or just online in general that are into the things that you're into because you want some type of validation that what you're into, what you believe in is actually true. And again, me personally, that's not how I operate. I never needed that type of validation to the point where I felt like my beliefs were predicated on how many other people believed in it or argued the same point. Like I said, I'm not going to sit here and say I don't feel like I don't like the feeling of seeing other people argue what I argue or say the things that I say or say the things that I would say. But if I'm being honest, that feeling comes from more so of, yes, now I don't have to get on camera and say these things because I would rather much not be on camera and do some other thing right now instead of saying this thing. That's where that feeling primarily comes from, if I'm being honest, y'all.
anyway, I'm pissed because it's also fucking sketchy that she continued throughout. Like, she's like, yeah, throughout the whole year, I was facing these questions, but I still showed up for you. If you didn't believe it, where the fuck were you pulling your information from?
Valid question.
Out of your ass? You just admitted you were making shit up. So, anyway.
Valid question. Valid frustration over there. I won't say crash out, but valid expression of frustration over there. Where were you getting this info from? Were you making ish up? Were you pulling it out of your behind? These are valid questions. Anybody, whether you're a tarot reader like her or myself or not, these are valid questions to ask of someone who is a current or former tarot reader. valid questions that I want everybody to start asking, especially former readers, but valid questions everyone need to start asking, folks. Not just when somebody decides they no longer want to be a part of this space, but valid breaking down of, okay, if I am going to trust you with this power, if I'm going to listen to you, these are questions that I'm gonna need answered. Anybody who isn't grifting should not have a problem with answering said questions. Now, I understand there might be people who question you because they have their own types, they have their own, let's just say, prejudices about someone who looks like you or someone who, whatever the case is, they have their own preconceived notions, prejudices, whatever you want to call it. And they're going to, because of that, they're going to question your validity. I understand how frustrating that is. But again, you should have the discernment to understand the difference between someone who genuinely is asking questions because they deserve answers and they genuinely just want to make sure that they're being safeguarded in this space, and someone who's questioning you because they have, again, they have a prejudice. They've prejudged you and said, I don't believe someone like who looks like you, whatever that may be, would possess such power, or I don't believe someone like you would be into this thing, and therefore I'm going to question you because I don't think you're here for a genuine reason, right? You could break it down to them and let them know, listen, I peep what you're doing and I don't like it. Or you could simply just ignore them. You know, choice is yours. That was more so advice to the readers out there who might be dealing with stuff like that. I'm trying to turn the light up. All right.
This is my application. Anyone that wants a new tarot reader, check me out.
So Alex Reads Tarot no longer reads tarot and goes by Alex the Ordinary. And I've seen a lot of the discourse online about Alex being in a cult. There's a conservative new boyfriend, or it's a Christian grift. Now, as a celebrity spiritual consultant and a celebrity tarot reader, I think there's too much money in it for it to have been a Christian grift. I don't think it's a cult, even though to non-believers, Christianity does look, seem, and feel like a cult. And I don't think it's a conservative new boyfriend because she said that she's single, but she did say that a year ago she went through a massive breakup. And a year ago, these ponderings and these convictions started.
I'm gonna make this point. This is pre-planned, by the way. This point I'm gonna make. I know it's gonna piss off a lot of people. It is what it is. A lot of y'all women take on the personalities of the men that you're with. And I think that's sad. Yeah, I don't understand this notion that you have to be just like, you have to have everything in common with not just your friends, but your lovers in order for you to get along with folk. When, if you can have a boyfriend, a partner who is a Christian, and yet they still accept you for your spiritual practice of being in tarot or whatever the case is, and vice versa for you and them, I don't see why anyone would feel the need to force themselves to partake in the other person's personal spiritual belief in order for the relationship to work. Now I know there are going to be people like, oh, they broke up, da 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 da. The point I'm making here is far too many times I've seen situations where women will abandon their individuality to take on again the personality of the man that they're effing. I'm just gonna keep it real. She a gangbanger now because she effing a gangbanger, right? She all about, hustling and scamming because she effing a dude who's all about that. She's into Christianity now because she's effing a dude who's a Christian. She's into whatever, some type of political belief or whatever, because she is messing with a dude who's into that. And I think that's weird. I think that's weird. I understand being influenced by your lovers. I trust me, I know that. I know how it is to be on both ends of the spectrum. I know how it is where I unintentionally, by the way, because I never once got into any type of relationship trying to force my partners to be like me, dress like me, walk, talk, and act like me. Like, no, like none of that. Like, that's weird to me. But like, I've been on that where been in relationships where inadvertently that stuff happened. But I've also been on the other side where again I've been with partners who, they were trying to make me be more so into what they wanted to, or I just naturally fell into something of interest. That is natural. That can naturally happen in relationships. Again, if you fall in that bucket, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the people who intentionally, it's the women specifically, who intentionally, because their man does this, their man believes in something, they then go and they take on his whole entire personality, his whole entire being in general. Especially the women who will go around and tout independence, free thinking, and how they can think and do for themselves, but you still, or especially the ones who go on and on and on about the patriarchy, but then I think one of the pillars of an actual patriarchal society or patriarchal like coupling is when the woman is, or when a man makes his woman again believe in what he believes in, partake in what he partakes in, right? And I mean in the sense of like indoctrinating his woman, essentially. It's like it's weird because it's like it's anti-patriarchy until it comes to being indoctrinated by a man and anything. Again, dating, becoming a gang, you're repping a gang you ain't a part of. You were never about that life. Now you about that life because your man is supposedly about that life. Like, come on now. Again, I can understand want to support your partner. I can understand naturally discovering an interest in something because you're around somebody who is genuinely interested in whatever. But y'all be getting indoctrinated. This is not a free will choice of I'm going to do this because of me. Nah, I feel like a lot of it has to do with you being indoctrinated. More on that later, by the way. I ain't finished with that point, but more on that later. And my laptop is about to die. So let's try to see if I can make this last, but we'll continue.
Now, I will disclaim Alex owes nobody anything. Nobody owes anybody anything, but I
Said the same thing, essentially.
do think there is a responsibility that you have when you are a teacher or somebody that provides information with such a large platform. Now, we can talk about the nuance of people trusting people, but when you are
I can talk about it because that's what I've been talking about.
somebody that people consider to be a safe space and you impart information, I think there is that responsibility to explain to them why the thing that you once taught them, you are now denouncing. It would be like Jesus.
And I get that. I don't want to make it seem as though I am, quote, victim blaming when I say, yo, like your discernment is your lack of discernment, by the way, is why you're in this mess with Alex and why everybody's mad at Alex and all this other stuff. That's the real issue here. Yeah, I agree. I do believe that Alex, at the very least, even though it is you from what Shayna said, Alex did make a explainer video, but from what it seems as though from these reactions, from the reaction from this lady speaking, the previous individual, and from what Shayna was saying, it doesn't seem as though her explanation was clear at all. Her explanation, it seemed if I'm guessing, was probably just repeating stuff that she had already said in the first place. But it wasn't necessarily a why I'm giving up tarot and moving into Christianity. It was more so, yeah, I'm just gonna remind y'all again that this is what I believe in. So I understand it, but again, I still take the stance that you avoid these problems when you use your discernment.
Jesus turning around to the disciples and being like, actually, you know what? I denounce this. Bye, y'all. And just walking away. So, in that, I do wonder why most of the videos haven't pondered or asked the question of what conversation was had with Alex, what was said to Alex to make her insecure or to make her reflect on an insecurity that challenged the certainty that she had in her gift enough to cause conviction. Because even though conviction by definition just means a strong feeling, in Christian connotation, you feel convicted because you feel guilt, you feel shame, you feel misaligned, you feel like you are not living by the will of God. So, what about the gift that's helped you help so many people? Why did God need you to give that up? A gift that I would argue God gave to you, because I know a multitude of Christian witches, and divination is nothing but talking to God. That's what it means. If you were to flip open the Bible and just randomly pick a scripture, that's considered divination. So, flipping through tarot cards and laying out three and finding the meaning to find clarity, why can't that also be from God? I guess the question is, why did God need you to give up your gift? And if you've been pondering the gift this long, why did it take you a year to step away? And it's not really about the money, even though to other people, I'm sure, it's like, why did you keep taking people's money? But why did you keep imparting wisdom on people that you were not sure, or imparting information, I should say, on people that you were not certain of, that you had questions about, that you had convictions about? Because what did you end up saying to them? And now there are people that have been a part of your platform, fresh out of church, fresh out of their faith, that are stepping into spirituality, and now they're wondering, was I misled by the devil? I watched that second video and Alex said it had nothing to do with the man, but in that same video, in the comment section, somebody posted a video of all of Alex's repost, and people edit shit to look a certain way because every single like swipe in that video, it was the same type of content. And it was like, okay, you like one video in the algorithm, you see a bunch, but normally there's some sort of like difference. So this all being consistent means you had to search for this type of content, and this had to be like the thread of content you were under. So I went to look for myself in her repost, and I turned on my screen recording because I was like, it probably did not look like that, and somebody edited this to make it look bad. I was scrolling for so long, I forgot I was screen recording. When I turned off the screen recording, I was 9 minutes and 30 seconds deep. And all of the videos, there was this guy being like, lacing up a woman's shoes and gifting her flowers is not masculinity. True masculinity is when your wife is 9 months pregnant and your eyes don't wander. The fuck are you talking about? And then it was a bunch of men like that, kind of like yelling about what masculinity is. And there was a bunch of women that were like, you don't have to be a milkmaid trad wife with French tip nails in order to serve the Lord. And it was starting to give, like, especially the content from the women, red pill women, like, all he wants to do is lust after women all day. But if you keep serving the Lord and keep praying to God, he will align you with a partner. You will have the family. That's what was really throwing me. It was a bunch of having the type of family that you dream of by praying to God. And it was like, did you get cheated on? And did he cheat on you with a trad wife? Or did he cheat on you with a bitch that had titties in a milkmaid dress and her nails done? Because something is going on here. And again, I know she said it's not about a man, but the content people interact with is very telling. Like, you do not like something that you watched without agreeing with it, having something that means something to you, having something that you relate to. Like, that's the reason that you like a video. But you reposted these videos, which means you wanted other people to see these as well.
So with
All right, so shout out to Jasmine Garden 23. Every time I watch it, like I said, it's my third time watching all of these videos, right? Shayna right now, the other woman or the other person, and Jasmine Garden. I love Jasmine. Like, already. Love the way she think, everything. I didn't pause much for her because I wanted y'all to hear her through and through. She absolutely cooked in that video. Shout out to her. All right, free shout out by the way too. Um, and again, if you want to see the entire video, I'm gonna leave this video of Shayna's in the description box so you can see it for yourself and you can follow the other creators on your own whim. Okay, but she's right. Like I don't even know what else to say in regards to what Shayna. I mean, not to what Jasmine was saying. Because she's absolutely right. She spoke my mind. And like I said, I love when people speak my mind for me because then I don't have to do the speaking. I could be my natural, quiet, reserved self. I can continue staying off the internet and focus on my writing, or if I'm doing a read for somebody, if not for myself, I can continue doing that. The things I would, I would do if I wasn't doing the video. You know what I'm saying? So I have nothing. One, I have nothing but respect, but I have nothing to add to what Miss Garden said. Jasmine Garden said. Um, we're gonna watch a bit more of what Shayna has to say in regards to those two clips. I am gonna stop at the point where I feel she gets rambly, and then I'm gonna stop sharing the screen. And if I have something else to say, share that. If not, get off and yeah, let this laptop charge. But let's continue on with Shayna's thoughts.
These thoughts, there's something else that I would like to add into this sphere. Mind you, there's many other people that have comments on this. I just really appreciated those two creators. Also, Jasmine is a mutual of mine. If you are not following her, definitely go follow her. Fun fact, she was a PK. She was a pastor's kid, and still deconstructed. So if you think, oh, well, I could never, she did, you can, we all can. You are fine. So one thing that I would like to add into this space is something that I've actually spoken about in another video pretty recently. I'll include the link up there. The Alex creator was like 20, between 21 to 23. She was a baby. She was a baby. Not was, is. She's still around and she's still a baby. I personally don't have any particularly strong feelings about her specifically making the switch because I know how young she is. And for other reasons, which I will share later. But once again, this just further reiterates the like, all of these people that are so heartbroken and so da da da. I'm like, why are you, why are you so attached to somebody that why are you so influenced by somebody who is still very much in their growth period? By somebody who like just
Anyone, period, to be honest with you. Alex could be the same age as me. I'm going on 35. I'll be 35 next month. All right. Virgos, what up? You know what I'm saying? It's almost Virgo season. We still got we still got a couple of more sides to get through, you know what I'm saying? Get through this current season, then Leo season, of course. But then it's us. But yeah, I'll be 35. Alex could be the same age. If Alex made this same switch, one, I still wouldn't care, but also I still would not be as attached to Alex. There are readers that I listen to who are older than me. There are readers I've gotten reads from who are older than me. There are readers who I've gotten reads from who are younger than me. The reader that I first started getting reads when I was around like 30, maybe like early 30s. I believe the reader was like 27. Like they were in their late 20s at the time. And I was again in my early 30s. The age factor, although I understand the importance of it, you would want to trust somebody who has experienced life, who has, with the whole come age comes wisdom thing. So I understand that that's still a thing that people would, do believe in this space. So I understand that fully. But at the same time, again, I'm not being attached to anybody. If at any point in any time I feel like this this connection, or like the reads, I'm just not feeling the reads anymore, or this connection is not what I'm feeling anymore, don't matter how old you are, I'm not going to follow your reads anymore. If there was something that was off-putting or anything else of that nature, again, I'm just not going to follow. You can be as young as 22, 23. If I feel like you have that talent, you really have that calling, and you're practicing it in the most ethical way, and you're actually giving the best, honest, most honest, accurate reading as you can. You could be 19, and again, that is a power that was given to you by God. If I see that, I'm going to want to continue to receive that message, receive those gifts from you. You could be, again, as old as me or older, and I feel like you're BSing me. You're just telling me what I want to hear, or you're just telling folk in general you're grifting. I'm not going to take that as, well, I'm not going to say anything because they're older, so that must be true. Again, this goes once again. It sounds like, some of y'all are probably going to be like, I'm tired of him saying discernment. You wouldn't have a problem with me saying discernment had you used your damn discernment. But it goes with discernment once again. I understand once again how age and wisdom are connected. I understand that. But that doesn't necessarily mean everybody who is older than you or of age or older or as old as you is someone to be trusted when they speak. Again, you all know this because you do come across readers that you don't vibe with who are either older than you or the same age or just older than 22 years old. And you still don't use their age as an excuse to just blindly follow them. So it's like y'all know this. It's not practiced across the board. There are many reasons as to why that isn't the case. Honestly, because my laptop is dying, y'all got bailed out a bit. I would not go over, I did bring them up earlier, but I will not go over all of those reasons in this video here. When I do that episode, it's just going to be on Spotify. Well, not just Spotify, but it's going to be a podcast exclusive. It's not going to be on YouTube. I'm not going to post that on YouTube. So if you are on YouTube and you do want to see that video, you have to go subscribe on Spotify. If you just want to listen to the episode, you can go check out the episode or in any other episode of Ernest Thoughts Stereocast on any of the platforms where you can listen to podcasts. Simple as that. But I won't go over that in this episode because of my battery strength. Let's continue on and see if there's anything else I got to say.
Just got out of college. Yes, I think that like from the clips of hers that I've seen, the videos of hers that I've seen, yeah, very gifted. I like the way that she did her tarot. And one, she was not the only creator that I was watching, which does lead into my next thing, which sorry, I got distracted. We're back. There are a lot of people who within this spiritual woo-woo community, they really only follow white people. They really.
She is about to cook a little bit. She's getting into territory. Let me stop sharing now. She's getting into territory on the content that I want to get into. I definitely do want to get into in this video, but like I said, the way my battery is dying, let me just check on the percentage, just to 20%. I still don't trust it, not to go crazy or whatever the case is. Not that this laptop is, messed up like that, but just to be on the safer side, I will get off. And I believe that this episode has been long enough, right? So I will get off here. I will stop here. And again, just to reiterate or to go based off of part two, I'm gonna make it a part two. So part two is gonna be pretty much what this woman, what Shayna's talking about or about to get into, and just my overall thoughts in general, some other thoughts I have in relation to that very notion that she was about to get into, as far as y'all folks who pick and choose which tarot readers you want to listen to, or who can get away with what, or who you're going to trust based off of a myriad of things. So, yeah, I'll get into that part two of this reaction. But this has been part one. And yeah, y'all let me know y'all thoughts once again. And again, if you're watching this on YouTube, part two would not be posted on YouTube. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, until next time, until next episode, y'all take care out there. And once again, use your discernment and you avoid these issues.